So we're going to go with the qualitative data analysis first. So when we talk about the qualitative data analysis techniques, so these are basically techniques which are actually helping me to analyze, you can say, the qualitative data. Now, qualitative data is, you can say, the interview that I'm conducting, you can say, or a discourse analysis, content analysis, but it has nothing to do with the numbers, you can say, right? So the non-numerical data, which I want to analyze so that I can gain some insights and some kind of, you can say, interpretation I want to make out of it. That's why I want to go for the qualitative data analytics, data analysis techniques. Now, these are certain, what is the introduction? So if we talk about, so basically what's all about, a systematic process where I can interpret non-numeric data, as I told, so that I can identify the patterns, I can identify the themes, and you can say the insights. What I want to do, the purpose is very clear. I want to understand the meanings, I want to understand the perceptions, and I want to understand the experiences. Now, what I want to do with it, I want to develop theories, I want to develop models, right? I want to understand the narratives of the people, and its application is everywhere. That is social science, education, business health, business and healthcare also. Now, largely, if I talk about, you can say, qualitative studies, see, qualitative studies were largely being utilized in the healthcare sectors only. So for example, I largely work on interpretative phenomenological analysis, that is an IPA technique, which is largely been utilized, you can say, a lot of research is done on research, on nurses, you can say, right? So Smith and Flower, you can say there are so many people, those who have worked in this particular field, so that they can understand, you can say, the insight and the experiences of, you can say, the patient, of the nurses and all those people. So largely we started with the healthcare, and now it is widely utilized in the other fields also. So what I want to do is that definitely I want objective data analysis is simple, so that I can learn the step-by-step processes for each technique, and I can explore the relevant tools and softwares. I can identify the appropriate techniques for the various research objectives, and basically, it is showing me a flowchart, you can see the research objectives. Now, these are the certain categories of techniques, especially when I go for qualitative analysis. So first is the text-based analysis, that is thematic analysis or the content analysis. Now, for example, you are having a public policy document, you are having newspapers, you are having certain reports, certain judgments, right? So you want to analyze that. So you want to understand the themes that have been there, or you want to analyze the content. So basically that is known as text-based analysis, or also known as content analysis or thematic analysis. Next is theory building. Now see, whenever the new theories are being developed, so that is developed with the help of the grounded theory. Now what is grounded theory? So I'm not making any assumptions in my mind, but largely what I'm doing, I am collecting the data, I'm interviewing people, or maybe through focus group discussions, or maybe one-on-one interviews, I'm collecting the data, and then from the data itself, the theory is emerging. So this technique, or you can say this process, is known as theory building, and the method which we are using it, that is grounded theory research. It is largely known as basically used for theory building. Right now, the second is experience focused analysis, which I was talking about. Now, for example, I discussed about that. Okay, what are the challenges which are faced by, you can say, the new age doctors in India? Now, if I want to do this particular kind of research, so which one is more apt? You can say the experience, because I want to understand what kind of experience the new age doctors are having during their MBBS journeys, you can say, or when they started their career. So, and then, or I can go for narrative analysis, where I can tell a story that, okay, on the basis of the interviews, these are certain things that I have identified. So experience focused analysis. And then when you talk about the language or interaction analysis, now, for example, a discourse analysis. Now somebody is giving certain kind of a discourse, and like, for example, the speech given by a particular leader, or you can say head of the institution, or a particular scientist, you can say. So what I'm doing, so I am actually analyzing the discourse, that okay, what is the larger theme of his speech, what kind of things he want to emphasize more, what is the meaning out of it, and all that. So discourse analysis. Conversation analysis, like largely you have seen the podcast where two people have been there. Or for example, let me give you a very traditional example. We have Bhagavad Gita. And in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Now, on the basis of the conversation between Krishna and Arjun, there are so many, you can say, Gita, you can say, versions of Bhagavad Gita, right? Which is having 18 chapters and 700 shlokas. So so many versions have been there. So what they're trying to do, they are trying to analyze a conversation which is happening, conversation analysis, that what Krishna wants to say and what kind of questions Arjuna is putting forward. Then the framework analysis or eclectic coding. I will discuss it in the further, you can say, methods. Now, the first is a thematic analysis, that is process and applications. So what I want to do, I want to identify, I want to analyze and report themes or patterns. So initially, what is the process? So first, the process is I should familiarize myself with the data. That means AI will not want to do this the thing for me. I have to read, you can say, the data which I have collected. I should know what the data is talking. Generate the initial code. So yesterday I have shown you, you can say, the coding I have done with the help of initial two transcripts, right? So I'm doing the coding part first, initial coding, then second level coding, and the third level, you can say, final coding. Then I have to search for the themes, you can say. I will review and define the themes, and then defining and the naming themes, and then producing the report, that is writing the report. So largely where it is applicable. So when we are taking interviews, when I'm going for the focus group discussions, when I'm going for open-ended surveys. So largely where I am having I'm having a kind of an interview, I'm collecting data. So this is how where the thematic analysis is largely been organized. Now, second is content analysis. Now you are having certain research question in your mind. Like yesterday also you had given me one research question. So that is a research question. Now you want to create, now what you will do the next, you will go to create a coding framework. So what you will do, whatever the data you have collected, you will start coding it. All right. So when we go for so there are two types of coding when we go, Excel coding and the open coding. Right. So on my channel also, I, in a very detailed manner, I've talked about the coding method, how coding has been done. Right. So in this, then we do code the data, then analyzing patterns and the frequency, that okay, which words or which themes are frequently getting repeated, and then the results have been interpreted accordingly. Where I'm using it. So I am using it, like, for example, media content, policy documents, archival data. That means you can say these are the secondary documents, secondary database, which I am using to make you can say, a case out of it, maybe a research paper out of it. You can say it is largely, you can say, the published data, right? So where I'm trying to show that, okay, the data is like this and this is how it is showing. Like, for example, if you want to again research, you can say, about the COVID-19 virus, you can say. So what you can do, so whatever the media content is available, whatever the policy documents have been there, archival data has been available. On the basis of that, you're analyzing it, and then you are producing a particular report. Then grounded theory, as I told you, so open coding is happening, axial coding happens, then selective coding happens, then the theoretical sampling. What is theoretical sampling? Very simple. See what happened when you start interviewing people. So initially, a lot of new information comes in, but after a point of time, no new information is coming as such when we are interviewing people. So that is a stage of data saturation. Please just note down this term, data saturation. That means you are conducting interviews, but as such, the same things are getting now repeated, but there is no addition or there is nothing new which is getting added, you can say, to the during the interview, no new information is coming up. Why I'm doing that? So that I can develop a theory. So basically, this is exploratory research. So qualitative researches are largely exploratory in nature because it always addresses the question, why? That why such things are happening? Why so many deaths? Why this is happening? Like, for example, yesterday we had a very tragic, you can say, accident, you can say, in Ahmedabad, and there's a plane crash and so many people lost their lives. Now I want to understand that why such accidents happen, right? What are the reasons for that? So when I want to understand the why kind of a thing, I can go for this exploratory kind of a research, right? That why such things happen, what are the reasons for that? And then so many questions are getting interlinked. So this can be used for grounded theory. Then the narrative analysis, that is analyzing the stories to understand lived experience. Like for example, you might have heard so many doctors talking about their experiences, right? Especially in the podcast and all that you might have seen. You might have seen that so many people are coming for TEDx talks and all that. So they are talking about their own experiences. So what you are doing, you are analyzing their stories, their life stories, and to understand the lived experiences. So what you are doing, you are collecting and you are transcribing the narratives, you are segmenting the narrative, and then you analyze the narrative structure. Okay, what is the flow, what kind of themes, what largely a person is talking about, and then you try to interpret the meanings that is hidden in those particular stories. All right. And then you synthesize those findings. And finally, what are the applications you might be seeing? Biographies that we read, interviews that happens, life histories have been there. So these all are basically narrative analysis. Like somebody wrote a book on certain political figure or something. So what they're doing, there's a third party, who is writing somebody someone's life. Maybe that person is not alive right now, or maybe alive, but that person is telling a story. They are analyzing on the various incidents, you can say, and the things that has happened in that person's life, and accordingly then they are trying to put their own interpretation, that okay, why they have done, what kind of things they've done, why they have taken that kind of decision at that point of time, what were the implications and all that, and you try to understand that situation, that particular context, and try to draw some meaning out of it. Then discourse analysis. So you have to define the scope and the context also in this. It's very important. So largely what you're doing, you are examining language and its role in shaping social constructs. That okay, how language is playing an important role in shaping society, you can say the social construct. So you're defining the scope and context, you're transcribing and breaking down text, you're identifying pattern and structures, you're doing the contextual analysis. Because see, when you talk about a research thing, see, research is always contextual. Research cannot be, you can say, it is applicable everywhere. No, we cannot generalize the research that we have conducted or we will going to conduct at every place. Like for example, the research that might be conducted in India may not be very much applicable, you can say, in the US, because the geographical location, you can say the climate, and lot many things are different. Culture is different. So definitely it is very, very contextual. And then you interpret the findings. For example, political speeches have been given, media discourses have been there, and then you try to understand the process and the applications, and you try to give a meaning out of it. So, for example, for the previous one, like for example, after Operation Sindhu, so Prime Minister Modi gave a speech and addressed the entire nation that okay, we have just put it on halt and all that. And after that, so many news channels you might have seen that they were trying to draw out the meaning that okay, what kind of meaning the Prime Minister wants to give to the entire world and to the Pakistan and to the other countries who are involved into it. And they said we are not ending it, but it is just a ceasefire, right? You're not ending it. It is still on. So whenever it is required, we will activate it. So people try to draw a lot of meanings out of it. That was discourse analysis. Now, explore individual lived-in experiences. That is phenomenological analysis. This is very close to my heart, this technique, and I like it really well. So largely now, for example, I want to understand from you people that, okay, how was your experience about this particular workshop? Now, my question to you is what I want to know about from you. If I want to know about this particular workshop, if I'm trying to get a feedback, so what largely I'm talking about, you tell me. I want to know your experience, correct? When you take a feedback, so what do you want to know? Experience we want to know, na? So somewhere you can say we need to understand one thing, that I want to understand the lived-in experiences. So when I talk about the lived-in experiences, so it becomes very, very crucial that that people should share their actual things, so like whatever their actual feelings are, so that I can, you can say, understand it. So largely my papers, like I did a research on Indian nurses on whistleblowing intentions. Okay, like in case if there are some kind of wrongdoings that is happening in the hospital, for example, right? And there is a series also on whistleblowing, a whistleblower. There's a series, and that is also on the medical doctor, right? So in short, if I really want to understand, okay, are there any whistleblowing intention among the medical doctors, for example? Have they experience any kind of wrongdoings, for example. So what I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to understand their experiences. So whenever I am going to talk about the lived in experiences, that is basically helping me to understand, you can say, about the phenomenological analysis. So what I have to do, I have to collect and transcribe data. That is very similar for across all the things. Identify significant statements that people have given. Now, largely because I'm not having any quantitative data, so how I will going to vouch for what particular themes are identified? It simply shows that, okay, people said that, okay, work-life balance, for example, or whistleblowing intention, feeling of revenge. Okay, this is a particular theme that emerged during my analysis. So now what I will write, so I will write that, okay, this is a theme, and many nurses have said that, okay, they would like to blow the whistle to take their revenge in case an action is taken against them. So I have to validate that finding, and how I can do that? By putting, you can say, certain statements that have been there, which is given by the actual respondents. So I will cluster the meaning units, you can say. Then I will going to develop the textual and structure description, and then I will synthesize the findings, you can say. So largely what I'm doing, so reflective journals have been there, personal narratives have been there. So this is basically helping me to understand, you can say, the lived in experiences, and this is known as phenomenology analysis, phenomenological. What I want to understand it, I want to understand the undercurrent, that is, what is the phenomena which is underlying, why people behave in certain manner, why they do act in a certain way, why they do this, why they don't do that. So all these questions are basically coming from the phenomenological analysis in a better way, and that is why we're talking about the lived in experiences. So framework analysis, I can go with the using metrics, for example. For example, I want to do the policy research, I want to do the evaluation studies. There I can go, you can say, for the framework analysis, where I can familiarize with my data, develop framework, index and chart data, analyze metrics, and then interpret the findings. Conversational, again, it is study the structure and the patterns of conversation, what the speakers are talking about, and then record and transcribe, identify turns and sequences, analyze adjacency pairs, explore repairs and pauses, interpret findings. Like, for example, customer service, telephonic interactions, and all these aspects, right? Now, eclectic coding, so we try to combine like multiple coding techniques under one. So that is applying inductive and deductive coding. All right. Inductive is, you can say, specific to general, and deductive is general to specific. This is a basic difference. So when we combine both the different coding methods, especially in the mixed methodology, or you can say in the mixed research, you can say, we are using both inductive and deductive. Inductive, you can say qualitative largely, deductive, you can say largely because of the quantitative one. So I can merge it together, and I can write a paper of mixed methodology where I'm using both quantitative and the qualitative, you can say, studies. So largely the application, you can say, is in the mixed methods and largely exploratory research. So these are some popular tools that you can use for yourself. So NVivo is there, very popular. ATLAS.ti is there, but these all are paid. Let me tell you very frankly, right? And initially you can have you can say, a trial version for 14 days in case you are making it first time. So you can use it NVivo now. NVivo is also having AI and all that. So what has been required, now you can upload the video files, you can upload the audio files also there, and the transcript that you have prepared. And the way we have conducted, you can see, with the help of ChatGPT, similar things happens, you can say, in the NVivo also. There you can create memos where you can actually write the important information which has been there, right? And you can put make memos over there. You can even put you can say for example, there is some important quote that I want to keep, which is very important from my research point of view. So I can make notes into it, right? I can do the auto coding part where whatever the data, the way I did with the ChatGPT, the similar thing can be done with the NVivo also. So largely many people are using NVivo, but one caution, see, these all are the tools. All right, they are not qualitative. So lot many researchers feel that, okay, if I'm using NVivo, NVivo means qualitative research. No, it's not a qualitative research. You can do the qualitative analysis without any help of any particular tool also, right? So you can do it manually. You don't need any particular tool also. You can do it. Like largely I have done manually, right? But yes, you can utilize these particular tools that can help you to like scale up and increase your speed. So what are the various features of all these? So you can do, we go with the coding and the theme identification. You can do the pattern, the trend analysis. Data visualization is also possible, and the reporting is also possible. Now, what are the various bases on which I can choose the right technique? So the first is explore patterns, that is a thematic analysis, you can say, right? So if I want to explore the patterns and okay, is there any connections? So I can go for thematic analysis. I want to develop a theory, go with a grounded theory. I want to analyze narratives, go with the narrative analysis. You want to quantify text data, go for the content analysis. And you want to study conversation between the people, you can go for conversation analysis. So these are certain parameters on the basis of which you can choose. Now, the comparison of qualitative techniques, that is based on your purpose, your process complexity, that means what kind of research you are doing, what kind of output format you're looking at, and what are the software support that you are aiming at, what kind of things you want to do with it. So best practices for qualitative analysis is that first of all, you need to ensure that you are familiarized with the data. That means thorough understanding before coding. And in case you don't know what the data is all about, what interviews you have taken, you are not clear that, okay, what interviews have been taken. So first of all, understand the data properly, familiarize yourself, refine codes iteratively. That means do the constant comparison that improves the reliability. See, in the qualitative research, we don't have content, you can say the content validity, criterion validity, and all those stuff, right? We don't have. Only expert validity is possible. So you can't do that kind of thing. But when we are having, you can say, the multiple researchers working on the same, you can say, project, so largely what happens then? So when you can do the comparisons, constant comparison, that actually improves the quality of your research. Then you also need to acknowledge researcher bias. See, we are very much biased towards particular topics, about a particular thing that I'm doing. Either I'm very positively influenced, maybe very negatively influenced, but this will going to like impact your results. So you have to make sure that you are acknowledging the researcher bias, and you should use the multiple researchers, you can say triangulation methods, okay, so that you can validate the results also, that what you are going in the right direction, right? Or the member checking. So in this way, wait. So in the member checking you can do. So in this way, ultimately that will going to help you that whether we are going in the right direction and what kind of results we are aiming, and whether we are getting, you can say, the right kind of insights that we are aiming at. Any questions up till here, please? Anyone? No questions?
So what do you think would be a limitation in using AI for sentiment analysis and qualitative data?
See, when we talk about the sentiment analysis also, like, so first of all, you have to give the timeline from which date to which date you are using the, you can say the commentaries that you're taking, or the conversations, right? Because basically you're picking up the comments there, and then you are running, you can say, a particular analysis. So from the sentiment analysis, basically about understanding, okay, what are the moods, emotion, perception of the people, what kind of things is going in their heads, you can say. So all these things are becoming part of it, right? So from there, I can actually gain the insight that, okay, this is what is going in the heads of the people. And on the basis of that, then I can write my interpretation, right? And I can report my findings. So every research, whatever I want to conduct, whether sentiment analysis or something like that, right? I have to make sure that what my research objective. So largely my research objectives basically decides that what kind of analysis I will going to take, you can say, forward, especially when I am going for a particular research, you can say. Right? Research objectives decided, okay, which statistical technique in the quantitative data, and which quantitative technique need to be there, especially when I'm going for the qualitative data. So for example, if the experience focus, I can go for phenomenology. I want to develop a new theory, you can say, or I want to improvise on the existing theory, I can go for grounded theory research. I want to identify the patterns, I can go for thematic analysis, right? I want to understand, okay, what the policies generally says. Like for example, you're having some medical policies, right? You're having uh, SOPs you have in the hospitals, right? For a particular procedure that you follow, especially during the surgeries and all that. And you make sure that the procedures have been followed. Now you want to just check that, okay, whether the procedures are followed properly, or are there any kind of lacunas that we need to address upon, right? So you try to compare, you can say the SOPs, you can say of the past years and the existing one. What are the gaps? And in case if there are certain kind of new things which are coming up, what I need to fix, you can say. So I want a comparison, you can say, for example, in SOPs. So that is a kind of a policy document so that I can improvise on that. So what I can do, I can go for the framework analysis where I can put, you can say, the particular SOPs of a particular policies, and then I can do a comparison and then I can improvise on that. So benchmarking, for example, or framework I want to develop. So it all depends on, okay, what kind of things I want to do. Like for example, like a lot of research is happening that, okay, consuming a lot of sugar, it tempts you to like consume it more. And if you are consuming more sugar, so there is a high possibility, because the processed sugar, we all are having a lot of intake of it. It is giving the rise to a lot of insulin in your body, and ultimately a lot of diabetic and lot many issues comes up. So you lot of experiments are coming in, right? Lot of research is coming in. So at times clinical trials have been there. At times when you are doing the clinical trials, you also, so it's definitely you are having that uh, testing of the blood, you can say DNA at times, right? But at times there are also that you want to interact with the patients to understand, okay, what kind of feelings they are having, what kind of experiences they're having after that particular drug has been you can say is given to them, right? Are they feeling any kind of anxiety? Is there any kind of issue they are feeling? And what are the changes they can feel in themselves, right? So trials are also happening. The machines are monitoring their BP and everything. But apart from that, you also want to understand, you can say, their psychology, their experiences, so that you can get a better insights. So now you're having a data that is coming with the help of machines and the various experiments. But apart from that, you want to talk to the people, right, who are the survivors, you may say, or maybe the other people. So what kind of experience they had. So when you collate all these particular data, you're having very rich insights, you can say. So your research becomes very much better. So accordingly, then you have to choose that, okay, what my research, you can say, agenda is all about, and what I want to actually gain out of it, right? Any other question?
Sir,
Sir,
Yeah, Lavanya.
I wanted to ask, can AI help researchers in identifying their own biases during data interpretation when it comes to qualitative data?
No, AI can't do that. Only humans can do that.
Yes, sir.
For the simple reason, see, like for example, your some topics are very close to you, right, to your heart. At times what happens, we become so attached to it that if something goes haywire, we don't want to listen anything to it, right? We don't want to listen, or we don't want to see any kind of tempering into it. So what we want to show the accuracy, we want to show, you can say, the very favorable kind of results. But actually that should not be the case, because my biases can actually temper the actual results, which may actually dilute, you can say, or which may actually uh, affect, you can say, the effectiveness of the thing, the research which I'm actually conducting. I know that, okay, the drug is not working fine, but because somewhere I am having my interest, I want to show, no, the results are like this only. No, you have to go with the facts only. You have to go with the data only. And you have to make sure that, okay, you have certain mindset, like for example, that people think this way, and that is why such things are happening. But when you start exploring, you found out that whatever was there in your head, that's not the case. The reason is something else. So you have to make sure that your own biases, your own perceptions, and your own understanding of certain things is not impacting the actual results of your research. So what is there? See, AI, when I'm analyzing the data, AI will going to give me the themes and results. But ultimately, I have to make sure that how I'm reporting it and what kind of things I want to show in that. That is very, very essential. Right, Lavanya?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And for that, that is why always there should be a check, and how a check can be there, especially in qualitative, when 2 or 3 people are coding separately. And when they are coming together that, okay, these are the codes that I have developed, these are certain codes that you have developed, and then you match. So then you can see that, okay, whether, so if the coding is done properly, so you will going to see that, okay, what happened? Your like, for example, Mehak might be having certain, Lavan is having certain perception, but if the coding is done properly, there will be a lot of similarities, a lot of differences also, and then you can discuss. So in this way, validity also increases, right? And definitely the results will be better. So that is very, very important. Checks are important. I should not be always reporting the favorable results. For example, you are expecting favorable results, but if it's not coming, so I should, for that, I should not temper my data because it won't solve the purpose. And moreover, you might be knowing that you can say a professor, you can say from the Harvard, she has been like expelled from the university because the findings which she has reported that were not supported by the data, and there was a data fudging, you can say, or the false reporting, and ultimately she was chucked out from the job. And you can say one of the celebrated professors in her field. So we should not do that. See, ultimately, whenever we talk about novelty, when we talk about certain thing, see, it comes from originality. The Nobel Prize winners and all these people are very original in their approach. So they might not be publishing lot many papers, but see, the kind of research they have done, for example, radium. So radium is now very much used, you can say, for curing the patients in the medical field, correct? So Madam Curie spent so much time, you can say, on her research. Years she gave, right? At times the demotivating also, you get carried away. At times you get lost in the direction, in the journey also. But still you have to, consistency is the key first of all. And what is your goal? What kind of difference you want to make? So ultimately do a research which is meaningful, that adds some value to the society. And that is why most of the time in many countries, your projects, your research grants are getting approved only when you are showing that, okay, what kind of societal implications will be there of your research. If it is not clear, they reject your proposal outrightly. Because we don't want to spend our money, hard-earned money of the taxpayers, you can say, on XYZ research, which is not adding any value, right? Like, for example, I think Metfor, there is some drug, I think Metfor or something like that. I'm not remembering that. So my wife used to take that, especially during a period's time, that, okay, Metfor or something like that. I'm not getting the exact name. So Maftel, correct. So she was taking it, but that is banned now in India. But still it is now getting sold. It is showing that it is having a negative impact, you can say, on the health of the people and all that. But still, many organizations are doing it. No, it is very good. And many doctors are even saying that, okay, no, in research we have found everything okay. How you can say that when it is actually impacting, you can say, the health of the people in a very negative manner? So we need to be very, very ethical. See, we have to understand it's a great responsibility not to misguide anyone. If you're misguiding by showing that, see, the result is saying that people trust you, but that is a great deception that you are actually creating. So these kind of deceptive tactics should be avoided. And it should be always understood that, okay, the research is for the some noble, you can say, noble cause, which you want to address. So we should take care of that. Right? So just moving ahead. So these are the best practices that we talked about. So use triangulation, member checking, as I told you. So key takeaways are that understand the core techniques, that is what is the purpose and the process of your qualitative methods, what you want to do. And accordingly, then you can select the particular data analysis method. or a particular research methodology. Then align method with the research goals. Whatever the research goals you're having, then align the method accordingly. Then awareness to tools to enhance analysis, you can do that. Whether you want to go with NVivo or Chat GPT or any other tool, that is up to you. But ultimately, you should know the software proficiency, that what are the, you can say, what software can do and what it cannot do. And that is where the questionnaires become very, very important, right? So largely when we go with the developing the qualitative questionnaires, so it should be open-ended so that you can collect, you can say the rich and the descriptive data, right, about the participant experience and opinion. So try to have an exhaustive, you can say, a questionnaire where you can collect, where you want to explore the complex phenomena, you want to get in-depth understanding of participant perspective, you want to uncover some new insights beyond numerical data. So please just make sure that the questionnaires are robust enough and they suffice enough, they are having the enough questions in a certain way that they can actually understand, like, okay, what we want to explore, and entire that concept is getting covered in the questionnaire. So these are certain things that you should be there in your questionnaire. So it should be open-ended, detailed responses, it should be flexible, exploratory nature, then focus on subjective experiences. So these are certain things that you can do, and these are something exploratory. Exploratory questions should be there, as you could see. What are your thoughts on? Can you describe your experience with? Why do you think that happened? How does this compare with your previous experiences? So you are exploring, you are describing, you are interpreting, you are comparing. So these are certain types of qualitative research questions which have been there. And the example of, you can say, effective qualitative questions like experience-based. Can you describe a situation where you face the challenge? What is your opinion on the recent change in policy? How do you typically handle the situations? Looking back, how was this experience shaped your perspective? So these are certain things that have been there that you can ask so that you can make your questionnaire better. And then what you want to. So these are certain things. So clarify your purpose, identify your research goals, develop a conceptual framework, and then explore the decision making, like for understanding customer satisfaction. You can map it accordingly then. Then finally, what are the ways to do it? Do your literature review first, identify gaps and themes. Then according to your construct, or you can say the variables, all right? So define variables that you want to explore, you want to research upon, map your themes to the sub-questions, and then you can show it with the help of the thematic tree. So don't ask leading question. Don't you think this is a good idea? So you are trying to put words in someone's mouth. Don't do that, right? Let the things come naturally. So encourage reflection, use prompts that describe, explain, and why. Follow up, can you elaborate on or what led to that particular decision? So you need to ask the right questions. Then start broad and go narrow. So start with a generic question and then you can go deeper. Context setting questions have been there, right? Prompting questions with which you can say specific questions, and then you can go. Then the pre-test, so what you can do, once you have framed the questionnaire, please just get it checked. So how we can get it checked, like in call it quantitative, we go for Cronbach alpha, we go for content validity, criteria validity, right? And then Cronbach alpha and all these things we used to check. But in qualitative, we don't have. So please refine your questionnaire for unclear vague questions, ensure a logical sequencing has been there, and then adjust language and format which people can understand easily, and then accordingly then you can move ahead. So these are the certain structure that you can follow. That is introduction, that is purpose of research, confidentiality statement. I will show you how it appears. Then warm-up questions have been there where you try to build, create a context. You try to develop a rapport with the respondent, because until unless the rapport is built, nobody is going to give you any kind of data, especially in the qualitative research. Very difficult to get data from the people. They don't open their mouth. They simply say yes, no, aisa hua tha, but they don't go on to deeper until unless they trust you. So rapport building is very important. So then open-ended question related to research objectives. Can you describe your experience with so-and-so? Probing and follow-up. So at times I want to probe, I want to know more something about certain things. So can you elaborate more on such experience? So first question is, can you describe your experience? Then I'm going deeper. Can you elaborate more on that experience? Is there anything else you would like to share? That is the closing question that you would like to go with. And these are certain probing techniques: clarifying question, probing for reasons, exploring consequences, and then reflective prompts, comparative prompts. So it is also an art to conduct an interview to get the data, especially qualitative. So for this, you have to practice a lot. And when you become, you can say, a seasoned researcher, definitely you can do a lot good things. So these are certain ethical considerations. So informed consent, explain purpose of your research, confidentiality clause you have to tell, voluntary participation, you have to make sure that it's been there, anonymity and confidentiality has to be there, minimize harm, avoid sensitive distressing questions, allow withdrawal without penalty, that if people don't want to participate in research, they should be free for that. And then, so these are the certain steps to analyze the responses. Again, we have already discussed earlier also. So transcribing, familiarization, open Excel coding, identification, interpretation, reporting. Then finally, we go with the open coding, Excel coding, selective coding, and visual coding. So focus, avoid bias and leading question, as I told the mentor. So try to be neutral, align question with your goals, so focus on research objective, pilot test for refinement. That means with the experts in the field, they can give you the better inputs. Then protect participants, that is very, very crucial. And use clear objectives, that is important. Use open-ended and probing questions. Refine through piloting and analyze responses systematically and the visual icons, right? So these are certain things that you can do. So I'm just now closing it. Any questions? Otherwise, then I will show you some papers. Any questions?
So, are there some beginner-friendly AI tools that medical students can use since they do not have a coding background?
Right. I'll show you some papers of different types which I talked about. I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Right. So you can just see this paper is about maternity benefit, qualitative analysis of employee and employer perspective on India. So this is the study I want. What I want to do, I want to examine the perception of female employers and employers in India, focusing on Maternity Benefit Amendment Act 2017. Now, what I'm using, I am using IPA, that is experience-based study. So that is why I want to go for phenomenological analysis, and in which I have taken 28 respondents. And these are, the study looks at how maternity leave impacts employees' understanding of their rights, because this is from the HR perspective. So that is why I have taken this particular, and I have applied social exchange theory also. Now, there are certain findings from this particular study, right? And then implications. Now, what I'm trying to do is, I'll just show you the analysis wala part. See, this is the model that I have created, and these are the themes basically which emerged from my data after doing the analysis. These are the particular themes, and this is the theory that we utilize in the overall work outcomes. Now, I have now talked about now the sample I have given, who all are the people, demographic details, right? Data collection. So these are certain questions which I start. Okay, how do you perceive maternity benefits amendment act? Please tell us about your observation or experience with maternity leave at your own company, which I talked about. And how long was the interview? 45 to 90 minutes, and all these things. And see, this is a demographic profile. Now, can anyone tell me, can you people identify that, okay, the employers and the employees profile which I'm reflecting, can you identify who this person is? Anyone? Can you identify from this particular table? I don't think you can't, because I have not given any such information, because out of which you can identify that, okay, which person is who, all right, what is his name, where he stays, and all that. So all sensitive information has been removed. So identification cannot be done. As in, you cannot reach to a particular person who has been interviewed in this particular study. Now I'm talking about the results. So this is the steps that I have taken. These I am talking about, these are 7 steps of IP data analysis, and this is actual steps that I have taken this particular study. So I am writing here author's own creation. And this is how theme 1 and theme 2. So this is the themes I have identified from the data analysis. And then I have talked about these particular themes, you can say. And you can see this. Participant 10, participant 11. So if I'm talking about impact on employability, so I am also supporting this with the comments from the participants that I had. Managerial support, again, for example, I have taken and I'm using it. So this is about the phenomenology, right? And accordingly that I'm doing it. Perception, criticism, you can say criticism of the policy. So there you can see I am also putting the employer comments also, employer 5, employer 4 and employer 1. Appreciation, employer 2, you can say. And then I'm coming to the discussions and all the stuff. So this is how we can move ahead with this particular kind of aspects. Now, similarly, in your particular field that you would like to go with, now I want you people to give me any particular topic and then I'll tell you that, okay, which kind of methods you can go with. Right? So we can have some now analysis. So what I will do, Mehak, I will share some of my papers, especially in the qualitative and the quantitative, right? Because you can look for the methodology at least.
Yes.
Right? So at least you people can just go through it. And in case, so at least you can understand the various kinds, you can say, of the methods. Like case method is also been there, grounded theory is there, right? Thematic analysis been there. So I will share you with a different kind of methodologies or how papers have been written, right? How coding has been done, as I've already told you yesterday also with the help of ChatGPT, I will show you that again only, right? So now just see, I am just opening, again, I am going for a new chat. Now, for example, as I told you yesterday also, I am conducting some studies. Let me take, these are the 2-3 text. Okay. Do the coding and explain the same. And show open, axial, and selective coding in a tabular format. You can just see that what kind of command I'm giving. 3 transcripts I have uploaded. So this is basically about a sustainable fashion, you can say, which I am working upon. I have given it do the coding, right? And show open and give me final themes and visual map showing pattern analysis. So now I have given the command. It is analyzing. It is taking just some time.
So when using such AI tools, should researchers mention in the methodology section that these tools have been utilized?
You can just say that, okay, we have utilized this particular AI tools, all right, for structuring the certain things, all right, but the idea and everything is yours only, right? Can you see this? Thematic map is coming up. Now see, this is the open coding, respondents, material, brand. These are certain keywords that are coming up, you can say, from the interview that has been taken, right? Now axial coding, that is second order theme and related open. So now national free, this is axial second order code. Now see, these are open coding which are largely coming from the three transcripts. Now just see material, brand, in the similar 19 also the similar kind of thing, but they are different. Now if I'm going for the axial coding, now you can see national chemical free material, that is largely which people are talking about, right? Value for money, comfort, skin friendly, durability, lot many things have been there. So eco-friendly, so you can say low carbon emission related open codes are also been there. Can you see so many codes have been generated? I have studied and have done the manual coding first. So I know that, okay, it is showing correct, but what the actual codes that we have developed, that is different. Similar, but little different. Now, this is a selective coding, that final themes that, okay, so ChatGPT is saying that, okay, these are the final themes that you can keep for yourself. But these are not the actual themes that we have kept for ourselves, especially in this particular research paper. So we made certain changes. So at least I get an idea. No? So when you do the manual coding and the coding is done by the AI, then what you can do? You can do comparison. And then you can keep the best one, or you can say the right one in your research paper, and then you can move ahead. So at least what happens? Your work becomes lesser, the validity and reliability increased, and the work is also done fine. Now, for example, visual thematic analysis. Now I say, give me the codes of the respondents to support the themes identified. Can you see this? It is coming up. So these are kind of supporting codes which I'm getting, which is there in the transcript. These verbatims basically goes into my analysis part. Can you see this? It is putting. So what I do, participant 1, participant 2, and see, this is what are the actual codes which are being taken from the actual transcripts that you are having. You see, my personal appearance talks about me and my individuality. I can express myself through it. So I am picking up, you can say all the codes from there. At least I'm having, you can say all the things at one place. Now, after my analysis, what I can do, I can put these codes accordingly in my research paper, right? When I'm doing my academic writing. Does it make some sense?
Yes, sir.
Right? So these are largely known as thematic analysis. Okay, let me just give. Analyze it as per IPA technique. Now see what is giving. Material choice is not just about textual price, it is moral and bodily decision rooted in health and nature sustainability. See, it can give me lot many things. I can do lot many things with this, but it is you who will going to decide at what you want to keep and what you want to remove. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Any question? Now, if I say, can you apply grounded theory for the same to generate a theory. Same thing, and I can do multiple things. You can say with the kind of, you can say analysis and on the basis of the research, you can say objectives I'm having. I can it changes as per the, you can say, the technology, the technique which I'm using. Now see, axial coding is done. Open coding happens initially. Now see, here category and open codes are coming. Then core category, subcategory descriptions have been coming. Core category, graduatory emerging theory, sustainable consumption identity formation theory. This is the theory that can emerge. Now see, it is giving me an idea that this is a theory which is there. This is a phenomena which has been there. Sustainable consumption identity formation theory, SCIFT. This is my theory which I want, which is there in the data, which is coming up. Now see the model which has been there. Can you see this? Ethical awareness is aligned with consumer identity, which is supported by health and financial values, moderated by it, that leads to brand and quality trust, that leads to sustainable behavior adoption, and also social visibility and recognition. Theory in one sense. Does it make sense? So I'm having one data, but depending upon my research objectives, okay, now I'll show you. Can you suggest research questions based on different qualitative now see, are the questions getting changed?
Yes, sir.
Right? Just give me a second. Hello? Hello? Okay, so can you see here the question, if I'm going with IP, how do urban consumers make sense of their personal values and experience in adopting sustainable clothing in a highly polluted environment? What are the underlying processes through which consumers develop and internalize a sustainable clothing identity in the context of ethical, social, and environmental concerns? See, as per the different approaches or techniques, my research questions is getting changed. What themes emerge from consumer narratives regarding motivators and values associated with the purchase of sustainable clothing? Narrative inquiry. How do individuals narrate their transition from fast fashion to sustainable clothing, and what do these narratives reveal about identity, you can say ethics and environmental responsibility? Ethnography, I want to go, I can do this. So you can say from one particular data set, as per the, you can say various techniques, my research question has changed. Interesting. So as I told you,
Yes.
it all and largely depends upon the kind of research objectives that you are having. And that will going to decide that, okay, which process of analysis we will going to opt, especially when we talk about qualitative research, qualitative data analysis, right? So what I'll do, I'll be sharing some of my papers of different techniques which I have used and from some other authors, right? So see, methodology is same and you can apply it, you can say, to any discipline, right? To medical discipline also and all that. Because I'm not having any such things, like especially the transcripts and all that. In case you are having some transcripts like this, like Mehak, so you can just, people practice it, and then we can have a doubt clearing session where you can practice and then you can come back. Right? So this was about, you can say, discourse analysis, action research. All right. So how is sustainable discourse? So for every, you can say, method, the questions are getting changed. Any questions now from anyone? Are you people able to understand that how we need to go with it?
Yes, sir.
Tanishka, any questions?
So there was a question that someone asked yesterday. The question was if they've uploaded data to an AI tool and it misinterprets it and uses the wrong statistical method and ends up arriving at incorrect results. So how do we catch that mistake? Or is it better to specify earlier what kind of statistical analysis method we want the AI to use?
Okay. Now, for example, let me just go back. So now, for example, again, I'm taking a particular data file, the same data file that I used yesterday. Let me just go back. This is a pharma data. And I'll show you what the data is all about. Can you see this Excel sheet?
Yes, sir.
What you can see in the first? As a doctors, you let me know that what you want to do with this particular data. Age, BMI, blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose, insulin, drug dosage, drug duration days, drug effectiveness. Now you are having this particular data. So this is, I think, some kind of a medical data only.
Yes.
Now you tell me what kind of insights you want from this particular data. See, AI don't know what to do with it. Now you tell me what kind of results or what you're expecting out of this particular data. What you want to understand. Tell me something.
We want to know whether the drug is more effective in cases of high cholesterol versus more effective in cases of high glucose.
Okay. Now do one thing, Tanishka. Just write this prompt and give it to me.
Okay.
You can put it in the chat window. See, what the best would be, I will run the same query so that you can understand it well.
I've put it up.
Done. Okay, so let me just go back. Using ANOVA. Now, what I want to do is ANOVA, right? Or if you don't know, or appropriate statistical tool. Okay, Tanishka, can you see something?
Yes, sir.
P-value is given. We performed a pair t-test comparing cholesterol and glucose level within the age group where the drug was effective. Mean value is given, mean cholesterol versus glucose by drug effectiveness, right? And this, the very low p-value indicates statistically significant. Okay, now I want, give me interpretation. in tabular format. Tanishka, does it make some sense?
Yes, sir.
So you got your answer?
Yes, sir. And just to ask, are you doing all this analysis in the regular chat GPT, or have you gone to data analyst to do
So
this?
I am doing it with a normal chat GPT. If I go to data analyst, it can give me more refined one.
I see. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So you can do that. And in case I want to see that, okay, across the various age groups, for example, I want to see, all right, is group, make 5 groups max. So I want to understand, okay, what are the major age groups which have been there in which this kind of relationship has been seen. I can do that also. Now it is analyzing for me. It will give me a tabular format. अब इसने क्या बोल दिया कि I can't do more advanced data analysis, so I can go to, क्योंकि paid version में ये limitation नहीं रहती है. So I can go to data analyst. अब यहाँ पे एक नई विंडो खुल जाएगी. Again, if I going to upload, you can say the same thing. All right. So it will saying, okay, you can take try again in 5 minutes and all that. But this is what can be done. Right. So I see AI don't know what you want from it, but ultimately you have to tell that, okay, this is what I'm looking at. Right. You can upload a policy document and then you can say that, okay, tell me the key highlights. See, the more precise and accurate your prompt is, and that is why we need prompt engineers nowadays, right? So better your prompt is, the better your output will be. Done?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, please? Do you have any other questions, Mehak?
So we do have some questions. The question was, like in future, do you think that this AI literacy will become very important for researchers as a skill?
Yes. So see, it is very, very important, but the most important thing is that they need to learn ethics first. You need to be very, very ethical, right? Like for example, sometime back on the news itself, you can say the Minister of Italy showing a nude picture of her that somebody has created with the help of AI and it looks so real. So what does it mean? That many people are misusing AI also. So what you have to learn is that you have to use it very, very ethically. See, it is a simple assistance, right? So I have to make use of it in a very appropriate manner. Though it can be very useful tool for me. It is very useful. It makes my work easier. Like for example, last year when I was doing an orientation program in my college, we were only 2 faculties. I have to send so many emails and all that. And because I'm academic in charge, also a lot of work has been there, too many emails and all that has to be exchanged. Now just see, if I have to write all the emails manually every time, how much time it will go to consume? AI has made my work very easy because I have to give a prompt. So the initial draft comes in and then I used to make some modification, my work is done. So it has reduced my clerical work, first thing. It has helped me in giving me the initial draft, which I can actually work upon. But ultimately, you have to understand that the machines cannot be superior to humans. The human mind, the decision making remains with you only. So first of all, you should know what you want from the machine, you can say from these LLM models. They are very smart, but ultimately they will perform up to that level which you will going to instruct them. Nothing beyond that. But for that, you know, your research, your prompts, your commands need to be very, very clear what you want them to work upon. Right?
Yes. Sir.
Yeah.
So for like semi-structured questionnaires which have both qualitative and quantitative data, which AI tool would you suggest best for the analysis,
See, so
statistical analysis?
largely what happens, because especially the people who are doing their thesis and all that, so at times they say that, okay, if I'm going for a mixed methodology, so I say that, okay, I have some questions in the same questionnaire, some open-ended questions were asked, right? But technically it has to be completed separately. But still many people do that we are having close-ended questions on the Likert scale of 1 to 5, right? We have some categorical data, for example, age, gender, yes, no, kind of a categorical data is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, right? Demographic profile, basically the demographic data is largely categorical in nature, right? When you go with the particular variables, now for example, I want to talk about anxiety, I want to measure stress. So now this organizational stress, I'm having a particular scale which has been there. All right, so they are, you can see the question that is being asked, so that I can, so that on the basis of the experience of a respondent, they can tick that particular on the scale of 1 to 5, that is from 1 to 5. 5 is the maximum intensity, right? And then what comes, the mean values comes in. If the mean values are very, very higher, you can see the impact is very, very intense, and vice versa, right? But when you go with the qualitative one, so see, there is a different tools for addressing, you can say, the data analysis. And the qualitative data analysis has to be dealt separately. Like for example, I have showed you, it can be through IPA, that is a phenomenological analysis. It could be thematic analysis. It could be case analysis, depending what you want to do with it. First thing. Second, when you talk about the data analytics in the quantitative research, so largely if I want to understand the relationship, I will go for correlation. I want to understand, you can see the impact on the influence, I go for regression analysis. I want to see the mediating, the control variables are there, for example. So mediation and the moderation and moderating factors are there. I want to see their impact on certain relationship. For example, my PhD student is working on work-life balance impact on employee well-being. Now, employee well-being is also of 3 types: physical well-being, emotional well-being, right? So when we talk about this, so she's taking, she want to see the influence, the effect. For that, I am using regression basically, right? Regression has been there, but I want to see the work-life balance, right? Or I want to see that which work mode is more effective. Hybrid is there, work from office and work from home. Which one, or hybrid? 3 I am having. So what I will do, I will go for ANOVA. ANOVA I have to use in case I am having more than 2 cases, so that I can make a comparison that, okay, I am having 500 respondents, or of these 500 respondents among these 3 particular categories. See, you can say that the mean value shows, because ultimately it's mean values only, right? The mean value shows that, okay, the people who are in the hybrid, they're more satisfied, or they are having better work-life balance, or they're having a better well-being. So the comparison comes. So ANOVA I'm doing, and then I'm going for the post-hoc analysis. So see, it all depends whether your data, what kind of data you are having. So whether the data is normal or not. First of all, this. If the data is normal, you go for parametric test. If the data is abnormal, you can say it's normal, it's not normal, then you go for non-parametric test. All right. When it is not normal, normally you understand a bell curve is made. 0.5 इस साइड भी नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव एक पूरा बेल कर्व बनता है. लेकिन अगर वो नहीं बन रहा, इसका मतलब है कि आपका जो डेटा है वो नॉर्मलाइज नहीं है. तो डेटा को नॉर्मलाइज करिए या तो पहले, और अगर नहीं है तो उसके लिए क्या तरीका है कि आप उसके अंदर नॉन पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट लगाइए. तो जैसे आपका टी टेस्ट है, उसके लिए विल्कॉक्सन टेस्ट उधर लगता है. तो मतलब देयर इज एन ऑपोजिट टेस्ट, यू कैन से, फॉर स्टैटिस्टिकल टेस्ट जो आप लगाते हैं. पैरामेट्रिक का नॉन पैरामेट्रिक टेस्ट भी अवेलेबल है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, आपका जो रिसर्च क्वेश्चन है बेटा, वो आपका बहुत क्रूशियल होता है. यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट योर रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव इज ऑल अबाउट. रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव के बेसिस पे ही आप डिसाइड करेंगे कि कौन सा टूल लगेगा या कौन सा एनालिसिस लगेगा. व्हाट इट डज इट मेक सम सेंस? और उसके लिए बहुत सारे टूल्स हैं. एसपीएसएल बहुत लोग यूज करते हैं, जो बहुत एकेडमिक रिसर्च में हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं. अब पीएलएसएम भी आ गया है, प्रोसेस मैक्रो है, बहुत सारे टूल्स हैं. तो पीएलएसएम बहुत इस्तेमाल हो रहा है क्योंकि उसमें थोड़ा मॉडल फिट करना आसान हो जाता है. ठीक है, कई लोगों को लगता है रिग्रेशन एनालिसिस हम हमारा काम हो सकता है वेयर यू कैन से इम्पैक्ट ऑफ एक्स ऑन वाई इज बीन सीन और वाई ऑन एक्स, फॉर एग्जांपल आई कैन गो फॉर रिग्रेशन इफ आई वांट टू सी द रिलेशनशिप है क्या दोनों के बीच में। फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे इन्होंने बोला कोलेस्ट्रॉल और हाई ब्लड प्रेशर, क्या बीच में दोनों के कोई रिलेशनशिप है, या हाई ब्लड ग्लूकोज का कोई कोलेस्ट्रॉल के साथ कोई रिलेशनशिप है, आई वांट टू सी, तो व्हाट आई कैन अप्लाई कोरिलेशन। सो इट ऑल डिपेंड्स एट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ डेटा आई एम हैविंग। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अगर कैटेगोरिकल डेटा का मुझे इम्पैक्ट देखना है, फॉर एग्जांपल कैटेगोरिकल फैक्टर्स का इम्पैक्ट ऑन कंटिन्यूअस वेरिएबल, तो उसके लिए मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं लॉजिस्टिक्स यूज करूंगा जहां पे मेरे डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल ज्यादा है, तो लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन आ जाएगा वहां पे। तो पॉइंट ये है, ये लार्जली बेटर डिपेंड करेगा व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव्स यू आर हैविंग, किस तरीके के वेरिएबल्स आपके पास हैं और आप क्या करना चाहते हैं, उसके बेसिस पे। तो अटेम्प्ट्स क्या होते हैं, मिक्स्ड मेथोडोलॉजीज लगते हैं, या इसीलिए हमारे मिक्स्ड टूल्स हम लगाते हैं। क्वालिटेटिव के लिए सेपरेट लगेगा, जैसे सेपरेट, जैसे कई आप पेपर्स पढ़ेंगे उसमें लिखा रहता है कि भाई इसमें हमने थीमेटिक एनालिसिस लगाया क्वालिटेटिव के लिए और हमने रिग्रेशन एनालिसिस लगाया क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा एनालिसिस के लिए, और फिर दोनों की फाइंडिंग्स को क्या कर दिया, मर्ज कर दिया, मतलब इम्प्लीकेशंस को मर्ज करके उसको साथ में लिखा कि ये क्वालिटेटिव फाइंडिंग्स है, ये हमारी क्वांटिटेटिव फाइंडिंग्स, और ये हमारा लिटरेचर रिव्यू कहता है, और उसके बेसिस पे हमने डिस्कशन अपना लिखा, और फिर हमारा एक फुल फ्लैश, तो इसे हम कहते हैं ट्रायंगुलेशन। यू कैन जस्ट नोट इट डाउन, ट्रायंगुलेशन इज अ वंडरफुल टेक्निक दैट कैन बी डन। इससे क्या है कि आपकी रिचनेस बहुत बढ़ जाती है आपकी स्टडी की, और ऑथेंटिसिटी बहुत बढ़ जाती है। इसीलिए आज के टाइम पे बहुत सारे जो जर्नल्स हैं वो मिक्स मेथोडोलॉजी को ज्यादा प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, रादर simply going for you can say qualitative only or sole you can say quantitative। ऐसा नहीं, सब सारी स्टडीज पब्लिश हो रही हैं, बट इसकी वेटेज बढ़ जाता है आपका, क्योंकि आपने एक चीज को 3 जगह से वैलिडेट किया। तो वैलिडेशन जितना बढ़ता है, ऑथेंटिसिटी जितनी बढ़ती है, रिसर्च उतनी बेटर होती है, राइट। सो दिस इज व्हाट यू कैन डू। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
Sir, are there certain AI tools which can help us detect anomalies in large-scale databases?
Yes, that can be done. But again, I told you, कि first of all, you have to check कि whether, like for example, you want to say that, okay, whether check the data set that you are having, is the data normalized? Are there any missing data? Are there any outliers? Are you getting? But for
Yes, sir.
that, you should know the basics of research. What are outliers? What is missing data? What is incomplete information? तो ये आपको पता होना चाहिए पहले से, बिकॉज जितना आपका रिफाइंड आपका प्रॉम्प्ट होगा, एआई आपका काम कर देगा। जैसे मैंने को पायलट के बारे में बताया था, बहुत अच्छा टूल है। आप को पायलट के अंदर आप अपना एक्सेल खोलिए, आपका जो डेटा शीट है, ठीक है, और जो पेड वर्जन में क्या है, एआई उस पर काम करता है, को पायलट वर्क्स फाइन। अब नाउ आप उसे कमांड देते चले जाइए, वो आपको फॉर्मूला देता जाएगा, फॉर्मूला बोले रन करिए, और वो उसमें एग्जिट आपका इंसर्ट करता जाएगा एक एक कॉलम, एंड यू कैन यूज दैट in your research papers. It is there. It works very well. Copilot के अंदर तो वहां पे क्या है, लेकिन वो पेड वर्जन में है। तो जब आप आपका 365 जो आपका जो आ रहा है, उसके अंदर जब आप उसे खोलेंगे पेड वर्जन में, उसमें एआई होता है। तो जैसे ही आप उसमें खोल के आप काम करना शुरू करेंगे को पायलट में 365 में, और जैसे जैसे आप कमांड देते जाएंगे, वैसे वैसे आपका वो डेटा को ठीक करता जाएगा, और नए नए सेल्स उसके अंदर वो इंसर्ट करता चला जाएगा, वॉट एवर यू वांट। So it all depends on the researcher at how he or she wants to play with the data, what kind of results they are looking for. और सारी चीजें आपकी पॉसिबल हैं। लेट मी टेल यू, एक्सेल से भी ये सारा डेटा एनालिसिस किया जा सकता है, मुझे उसके लिए कोई एआई की जरूरत नहीं है, बट यस, एआई टूल्स की मदद से मेरा काम बहुत जल्दी हो जाता है, एंड दैट इज गुड, नथिंग बैड अबाउट इट, बिकॉज हर जगह पे एआई है आज के डेट में, तो देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग। हाँ, डेटा फर्ज करना गलत है कि 100 का डेटा है, मैंने 1000 का बना दिया कि मैंने 1000 लोगों से लिया तो नहीं है ना। और आप बोल रहे हो कि 1000 लोगों का डेटा आप इसे जनरलाइज कर सकते हैं, तो आप सोच के देखिए, स्पेशली मेडिकल फील्ड में वो कितना डेंजरस हो सकता है। क्या करिए, ड्रग बड़ा सेफ है, आपने मात्र 50 लोगों पे किया और उसमें 5000 का डेटा बना दिया आपने एआई की मदद से। बना देगा वो, लेट मी टेल यू, बना देगा, और उसमें रिजल्ट्स भी आपके अच्छे आ जाएंगे। तो इसमें एथिकल होना, एथिक्स का बड़ा क्लियर रोल है। क्योंकि अगर आपके गलत रिजल्ट है, मान लीजिए उसको लॉन्च कर दिया, डिसीजन ले लिया मैनेजमेंट ने उसके बेसिस पे, आप सोचिए कितनी लाइव जा सकती है उसकी वजह से। आई होप आई एम एबल टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चंस।
Yes, sir.
Any other thing?
So if anyone has any questions, they can ask right now. Then we can end the session. Okay. So as we come to the end of today's session, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Narendra. It was an absolute honor to learn from you, sir. We have had 2 very engaging and insightful days full of learning, and we hope to apply all this information into our work very soon. I would also like to thank all of you who joined us today. Have a great day ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. So please just apply these things. In case something is needed, then I can take a short session where you people can actually play with all these particular things, and then we can just look at it where you are getting stuck and whether you're getting it correctly or not. Right? So learning by doing simple, that is a formula. Practice makes the man perfect. So all the very best. And I hope whatever we could, I could share in these 2 days I have tried. So all the very best in your research endeavors, and all the very best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.